Sound
Check, check.
testing. Mic
Yeah.
testing.
Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Welcome to the First 2 Years, an early careers podcast from the Ken. I am Akshay Chandrasekharan, and today I'm not by myself. I've got myself a co-host who's agreed to do this by her own volition, Rahel Philippos. Rahel also co-hosts, for those of you who don't know, the Ken's flagship business news podcast, Daybreak. Hi, Rahel.
Hi, Akshay. Can I just say I feel like I've peaked? Because I've told you this so many times. I am such a big fan of the first 2 years. Full disclosure, I am past the cusp, just about past that cusp of the first 2 years of my career.
Likewise.
But I still feel like this podcast has been like this invaluable resource to me, okay? Like it's really given me so much clarity on those really messy bits of your career that you really want help on. You know, you want that like big sister figure to come to and say, hey, tell me how to do this. And you've
Yeah.
been that person for me. So I'm so happy to be here and I'm so happy to be co-hosting this very special episode
Yay.
with you.
That is so sweet, Rahel. But before we get to the episode, let's cue the intro.
Today's episode is going to be a really, really special treat for all of you listeners. So
Yay.
stay tuned.
I think we have both good news and bad news. I'm going to get the bad news out of the way first. I think season 1 of Tifty is drawing to a close by the end of this month. But the good news is that the last 3 episodes of our debut season is going to be super special and memorable.
I'm curious to know how you feel like, you know, you've evolved as a host, you know, back from that
Yeah.
first episode back in March till now.
I think I say this all the time. I feel like this podcast truly humbled me. And the career stories are also human stories, right? Like when people are talking about finding a mentor, they're talking about feeling lost and confused. And when people are talking about their struggles with asking for help, they're literally talking about imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
right? When they're talking about influencing without authority, we give all these fancy names.
Yeah.
But they're essentially talking about not being taken seriously at work. So all this emotional stuff, like very counterintuitively,
Yeah.
is the stuff that stayed with me because these emotions are quite universal, right? You can't like it's not an 18 to 25 age group emotion. You know,
Everyone feels imposter syndrome.
Everyone
feels like, you know, what do I
self-doubt.
do after
Everyone
I
feels
make a
lost and
mistake?
confused. So, and you're opening about, and most of these people who came on the podcast, right? A lot of them who I'm so grateful for, were opening up about their shortcomings, things that they were struggling with, things that they're not good at but want to get better at. And it takes a lot of courage, right, to do that and to put them in this like sort of a virtual room and talk to them and give them undivided attention. That was the most rewarding part of the podcast. And to watch other people have courage in such a visceral way kind of inspires you to feel a little bit more braver when you're talking about your shortcomings. When people talk about their problems, it reminds you of how universal all of these problems are and how most of us experience it, and most of them can be bracketed into certain categories, and it's super relieving,
Yeah,
you know, of
and-
that burden. Yeah.
And sometimes the hardest bit is just to be vulnerable and admit to the fact that,
Yeah.
hey, you know what, I don't have it all figured out.
Yeah.
So it's great that Tifty was able to kind of be that in between, right? Where
So
you
true.
created that space where people could be vulnerable and come forward and say, hey, you know what, I'm going through a bit of a crisis at work. I don't know how to deal with
Yeah.
it. And you were doing that, like connecting the dots for so many
Exactly.
people. Yeah.
And as much as they wanted answers, right, oftentimes they just wanted to be listened to.
yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They just wanted to be listened to. Like at the end of the call, they felt like their problems weren't as trivial. Like
Yeah.
someone cared enough to sit and talk to them about it.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I could already feel like they were heaving a sigh of relief. They already felt like they had talked through some of these challenges. And like the advice almost became a bonus.
Yeah.
Right. And I
That's amazing.
started madly falling in love with the people who came on the show. I'm like, they're so cool, they're so smart, so
Yeah.
curious, ambitious. And I thought the otherwise, right? I thought the guests are going to blow me away. But honestly, the vulnerability of the
Yeah.
young early career folks who came on the podcast actually blew me away. The experience of having recorded the episode always superseded the actual episode itself. Okay. Rahel, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
I know you listen to all the episodes religiously. Do
Yeah.
you have a favorite?
Okay, it's funny you ask that because my favorite Tifty episode is actually one of your more recent episodes.
Oh, is it?
It's the episode you did with this very interesting woman named Annie Duke.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
She was such an interesting guest and she had such an interesting perspective on quitting.
Changed my
Right?
life, honestly. Yeah.
Mine too, because this was something that was really relevant to me. I'm sure Tifty listeners don't know this, you do. But I walked away from a job that I actually really liked. Things were going really well for me. And I decided that it was time for me to move on. There were other things that I wanted to pursue, and I
Yeah.
felt like I would not be able to do it at that organization, despite the fact that the going was good,
Good.
right? And it was such a difficult kind of phase of my life where I was like, is it worth it? You've put in so much work, you've put in all this effort, all these years into this one job. Do you really want to walk away from all of that? And it was a
Yeah.
really tough decision, but I eventually decided that yes, you know what, this is what I need right now.
And even after you quit, you're always sort of wondering, did I make the right decision?
Yeah, yes.
Did I
yeah.
not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it was really refreshing to hear her perspective on quitting. Right? She said this really interesting thing about how quitting is actually starting,
Yeah.
right? And unless you quit, you don't get that opportunity to kind of start over and take your career to that next level.
Yeah.
And that really changed something in my brain.
That realization that quitting is starting and that quitting gets you to where you want to go faster. So if I'm doing something that's making me unhappy, I'm not actually making progress in that thing that I'm doing anyway. So that's one thing that we forget because I'm unhappy, right? So when I quit, yes, I stop. But what do? I free up all my time and attention and effort and money to put it into something that will make me happy. So now what we can see is that quitting actually gets you to where you want to go faster. Because if you stick with something that you're unhappy with, you're not actually making progress towards your goal. Or maybe it's very slow. But if I quit and I can switch to something that is going to allow me to actually make more progress toward my goals, then I'm actually speeding myself up.
Hello, this is Praveen. I'm the co-host of the Ken's weekly business podcast 2x2, where Rohin, my co-host, and I bring a bunch of interesting guests and have discussions on pressing topics like, will Flipkart become PhonePe before PhonePe becomes Flipkart? Or is the golden era of the software engineer over? 2x2's episodes are behind a paywall for our subscribers, but occasionally we sneak some of these out into the open world so you can listen to them and find out what they sound like. This week, the episode we have unlocked is also one of my favorite ones. It's called Delhi Pricked the Bangalore Bubble. And for the final time, we have the definitive discussion about what is really better, Delhi startups or Bangalore ones. This episode is available for a limited time, so to listen to it, just subscribe for 2x2 by The Ken wherever you get your podcasts, and you'll find the full republished episode on your feed.
Okay, Akshay, this is gonna feel a lot like picking your favorite child, I'm sure.
Gosh,
but
yeah.
do you have a favorite episode?
I don't know about you, Rahil, but I've definitely cried
Yeah.
in front of my bosses. And luckily, I've had really generous managers and bosses who haven't shamed me for it. But this regulating your emotions at the workplace is such a big topic for me. In one of the episodes we did, it was about bouncing back from a really big mistake at work. And I remember speaking to this guest and I'm like asking her, like, how do you respond to a mistake? How do you respond to a mistake? What's the first step in action? What should I do? What's the best way? And all of these. And she says, you don't respond to it.
Yeah.
Just take a walk around the block, go get a snack, give yourself that time to just sit with it and like really come back to a neutral state before you go and have that difficult conversation. It sounds like so simple, right? But after that, I was digging, like doing some research, and there is science to back this, that you need at least 20 minutes for your body to adjust back to normalcy. Like that magical 20 minutes, like because and she also says in the episode, she caveats it, she says, don't give too long. Like, don't take too long. Don't take a day or something, because that prolonged silence kind of becomes like
Like festers.
it festers, battleground for like unresolved issues, and they are thinking about what you're thinking, a lot of assumptions and all of that. So it gave me that simple magic number, like take 20 minutes, take a walk around the block, come back and talk to them. And you know how it is in journalism, right?
Yeah.
Like we're constantly making mistakes.
I don't know about you, I've been there.
Yeah, no?
I've made some big mistakes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I was also lucky enough to have an editor who, I remember once I made a really, really massive
error,
blunder
yeah.
that actually something, I was working at a news desk and you know, you're clearing a lot of copies and things
Yeah.
like that. And I missed a line
Mm.
that ended up really blowing up. And, you know, there was this article that was shared like 20,000 times on Twitter,
Gosh.
screenshot after screenshot. And I
Yeah.
was freaking out, obviously.
Yeah.
I also struggled with moderating my emotions and
Emotions,
keeping
yeah.
things under control. But like I picked up the phone and called my editor and I said, I'm extremely sorry. I've messed up. This one's entirely on me. And he just said, I mean, obviously he must have been freaking out as well. Like the editors were
Yeah.
involved, things like that. And he just said, it's okay, it happens. This is how you learn.
Mm.
And it was like this massive
And
weight
you're
lifted
you're
off my
here
shoulders.
thinking I'm gonna get fired.
I was like, dude,
for
there's
this.
people rioting outside my
Outside.
front door. I am
And I'm
so
here learning
screwed.
from my mistakes.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem
Some
right.
lessons are just way bigger than others, right?
Yeah, I feel like in journalism it's so true. I
Yeah.
feel like every mistake you make has like real life consequences.
Yeah,
You know
it's
how
terrifying.
people tweet saying like give that intern a raise
Yeah.
and all that.
Oh my gosh.
And
It
sometimes you're
sucks to
like,
be-
yeah, it sucks to
Yeah.
be on the other
Yeah.
side when people are reacting to like, who's this intern who made this blunder?
Yeah.
Fire them. And Twitter trolls are always like this
Ruthless.
excessive language, right? But
Yeah.
you have been that intern, you have been that sub
Yeah.
editor. So it's so unreal. So I think just by virtue of being in this profession, that episode, like, I think really meant a lot,
to you.
Me.
Take your mind away. Don't. I would say, if possible, don't even go back to your desk and work. Just go for a walk around your office campus. Just go to a cafeteria. Just and just buy whatever your favorite food is. But basically, all I'm saying is first give it some time. Just breathe. Do not try to address it. Do not try to go immediately to someone and start having a conversation or so on. Because the truth is, you need to process this first before you can even articulately communicate what happened. And usually when you communicate, you want to communicate the full story of what, why, and basically what you can do going forward.
So Rahil, I was wondering, like that 20-minute rule that I learned in the mistakes episode.
Yeah.
Do you have something that you kind of intuitively apply, something you listen to the episode even today?
There's a few things actually, but off the top of my head, I'm thinking about that episode you did on asking for feedback even when you read it.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's something I always struggled with. And I remember the guest that you spoke to in that episode said that, just go up to your boss during those windows of time when they're, I don't know, lunch hour or when they're walking to their car after work, identify those windows of time. And instead of wasting it, making small talk, asking about the weather, ask them for feedback. Ask them,
So
like in
true.
my case, maybe go up to my boss and say, hey, have you heard that last episode? I thought I was sounding, not great, or I thought it was really dense. What do you think? Right? Like
Yeah.
actually engage in those conversations. And I find myself doing that a lot more.
Yeah.
I happen to sit next to the water cooler at work, so
Yeah.
it makes it super convenient.
To do that.
Yeah.
And every boss that you're going to encounter is going to have unreasonable demands of their time.
Yeah,
They're always going to be spread too thin.
absolutely.
I think this is like an advice that you can take to every job
Yeah.
where you're like just observing and seeing when is a good time, because so much of feedback is just timing.
Yeah,
I didn't know that you were doing it consciously.
yeah.
So that's
When
interesting.
no
to
one's
know.
looking or listening, I will slyly just
Find opportunities
Yeah.
to get feedback.
I worked with somebody who had a lot of people reporting to him. He was an extremely senior leader. Getting his time was complex because from when he came into office to when he left, everybody needed his time. And I was reporting to him, so I needed feedback from him. So feedback was just difficult to get purely because there was so much demand for his time. So then for me, it was look, he has to take breaks at some point. And during those times, I'm going to shamelessly catch him. So let's say I know he has to walk downstairs to his car. I know that he's going to eat lunch at some point. I know that he's at some point in the evening going to feel like I've been sitting too long. Maybe I need a walk. Catch him at those moments and ask him a couple of questions, get feedback.
It's so interesting that you say that. You know what I did? This is interesting, Rahil. I think you'll find this pretty interesting. I went back and spoke to Harshit, who actually came on the episode.
No way.
Yeah, he remember he was so like in anxiety about
Yeah.
I'm not getting any feedback. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel very lost, directionless. And after the episode aired, we hadn't been in touch, right? And months later, I said, "Hey Harshit, what's up?"
Mm-hmm.
And he wrote back. We set up a call, and I spoke to him, and this is what he had to say.
When he said that the person should not take it personal, and that is something, it has stayed with me. And I would say it has not just just kind of stayed with me, it has somewhat I've brought into my normal day to day life. I was in a lot of anguish, and the lot was going in my mind when I left. It took me a lot of time here to settle with myself that it was not your fault if the organization was not working effectively. You were not able to deliver something because there was a confusion, there was a fog in front of your eyes. So now whenever something happens, I immediately ask my colleague, is this normal? So if their reply is yes, it's normal, then I am more confident in doing that work. If it's not normal, then I will go to my upper management and ask them, is this normal? They are like, yes, it's normal. And then they see that if I'm asking that question, that means I have a doubt. So they will ask me, should we help you? Do you need any help? And if I need, I ask that, they help me, and I deliver the work. Because it will be very surprising to say that I am very new in this organization, and I was awarded the Rising Star of the Year. And I was shocked. I was not expecting it at all.
You know what really stands out to me is how happy Harshit sounds. You know,
Yeah.
it's such a refreshing change from the episode when he
It's
featured.
such a refreshing change. And the sound he got a mic. After the episode, he was
Whoa,
like, "Hey, I have a
Harshit,
mic
good
now."
job,
I was
dude.
like, "Good job." Yeah, you know, one other person who wrote back to me after
Mhm.
being on the episode was Pranav. I don't know if listeners remember. He was on the Influencing Without Authority
I remember
episode.
him.
Yeah, he was speaking to Nashiter, and he had this problem of how do I be taken seriously at work?
Yeah.
Right? He was doing this big project, which meant he had to talk to a bunch of senior, experienced folks in the company and work with them and get
Yeah.
them to sort of influence them, right? And
Mhm.
such a coveted thing, influence. And he was really struggling. He was like, nobody takes me seriously. I don't think I can do this and all of that. And after the episode aired, he had reached back to me saying that this was very useful. I'm going to try it out.
Okay, I'm really curious. Did his relationship with his team get any better?
Well, I asked, and this is what he had to say.
I remember vividly two main recommendation by Nashita. One was, keep yourself, myself open to my colleagues in terms of what kind of challenges that I'm facing in my work, right? And I did that. I tried to explain them my challenges in providing them what exactly they required. One of the thing that she said was, you know, try to help them in their issue. So actually, I've used that in a little bit different way. Since we are in a corporate, it's a give and take. So I use that also as a tool to, not get what I want in return for what they want, right? I do well multiple projects with them, right? So one of the thing that I've started using is carrot and stick. So like if they don't accept in let's say in a business case front what I require, then I have other work that I do for them. Then I can bargain with them. That's what I tried to use, and it is effective, I would say.
It's really nice to hear Pranav sound so confident. You know, it's quite
Yeah.
clear that there were some takeaways that he's really applying in his life
Yeah.
from that episode. And that's just really cool to see, because in the episode, he kind of sounded like he was on the back foot a bit.
Yeah.
Here, he's sounding so much more confident, and like he's taking those tools and applying them wherever he kind of sees fit, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think to me, what stood out the most was how much of your work is impacted by your relationship with your colleagues.
Absolutely.
Right. But there was one other person that the listeners really wanted to know about. I think in the How to Fight for Your Promotion episode, there was this person, Arjun. And almost everyone by the episode, when we wrapped up the episode, who listened to the episode had written to me saying, did Arjun get his promotion? What happened to Arjun's promotion? And we didn't have an update for a really long time. You know how corporates work, they take a really long time. But now Arjun is back with an update and he has some news to share.
I'm Arjun. I'm working as a associate product manager at this rather popular B2B SaaS company. And unfortunately, I did not get promoted in this cycle. Yeah, got to know about it around 2 days back, had some thought, had some time to process the news over the weekend and see what should be done. I mean, I saw the point of, the point that the guests were making in the sense that you need to show that you are an important part of the org and in some way set up the stage for some negotiation where you say that you are an important part of the company and there could be a critical business function that could be hit if you are not there. Even though I was about 80 to 90% sure, like I was pretty confident that my promotion is going to go through, and so was my manager. But when he came back with that news to me, and basically the entire process happened in the last week itself, I was a little taken aback, and so was my manager when we were discussing this. At least that's the message that I got. But yeah, I also thought that maybe something better could come out of it. And now that it's been 2 years since I've started working full time, maybe this could be a nice opportunity to rethink some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's not
that's a
nice
bit
to hear.
sad, yeah.
I'm sorry, Arjun, for
Yeah.
it's pretty sad that the promotion didn't happen, but honestly, I wouldn't have known any better either. I mean,
Yeah.
I was also one of those people that just assumed if you put your head down and you work hard,
Yeah.
that promotion just happens, The
Yeah.
fact that it's something that you have to fight for
Hmm.
wasn't something that I knew either.
Yeah.
So I guess you live and you learn, and it's still the beginning of your career. There's so much time to go.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
Yeah, it's going to get better. It's I think he's also going through it because it just happened.
Of course.
And he was
yeah.
magnanimous enough to come on the podcast and
admit
share
it.
it with all of us. But I really, really hope it gets better from you. But thank you so much, Rahil, for doing this and being in it with me.
course.
And we are going to do a second part to this.
I'm
If
so
the listeners
excited.
enjoyed it and they like this format and they liked hearing us, like we have so much more to share in the second part as well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Rahil, for being in it.
Thanks for having me, Akshay.
Okay, thank you. See you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This episode was written, hosted, and produced by me, Akshay Chandrasekharan, and Rahil Philippos, with sound engineering by Rajiv CN. Thank you.